In the 1960s, New Zealand was one of the richest countries in the world. In the 1960s, New Zealand was one of the richest countries in the world. That's right. That's a fact. It was second only to the United States of America. Little New Zealand, only after the United States of America, was ripping it. We were flying high. So I decided to dig into this and see, why were we rich? And I'm talking about financially rich. It was based on our GDP per capita. That's how it was based on. So meaning there was plenty. There was plenty of everything. Let me tell you, we had one of the lowest crime rates ever during that time. I think the percentages were about 2%, 2.1%. That was our crime rate. Unbelievable. When you compare it to today, it's just out of control. Here's another thing that's true. Unemployment didn't exist during that time of prosperity and wealth. That's right. I say it again. It was it was described as full employment. Nobody was without work. How's that? I know it's unbelievable, but we all had work. Here's the next thing I'm going to tell you about. And this is an interesting one, this one here. We had the highest home ownership rates in the world. Can you believe that? Thinking now that we have a home shortage, it's almost impossible for young Kiwis to ever dream that they're going to have a home. But I want to repeat that because that's amazing. The highest home ownership rate in the world in the 1960s. In other words, you didn't have to worry or dream about getting your home. That was a given. You don't have to worry about getting mugged or killed or, murdered or raped, because crime was almost unheard of. That's right. That's true. And you all had jobs. So we're all happily prospering, safe, protected, had all the resources. That's paradise right there. And I can tell you two more things, and these are the two that I want to dwell on that add to this incredibly amazing list of our nation being one of the richest in the world. The last two thing was low family breakdown. Remember that. Now don't turn off on me. This is very important because this election, this is going to be a key to seeing how we can get out of this mess and how our country can do well and prosper and be the best in the world again. If it was once the richest country in the world or the second, it can be again. It can happen again. And the last one, after low family breakdown, here it says 90% of the population, look at my smile, were Christians. That's right. Don't you stay with me, because I'm telling you right now, these are facts. This is not me pushing religion or imposing Christianity on you. This is absolute factual evidence that our country had all that these politicians are trying to do to get the economy moving, to get us into a place of wealth and happiness, and it's all failing. And here is the keys. So really I can say, if you're looking for politicians to fix it, forget it. You're looking for Christian leaders. Based on this evidence, we are looking for Christian leaders in this election to lead us again back to being a great nation. And talking about a great nation, I want to talk on these two things here: family, Christianity. So there was 90% of us New Zealanders, and I was born in 1958, so I was born in that golden era and I came into it. And my childhood was a great childhood. Swimming in rivers, farming, the place was beautiful, open. We didn't think about, where we were going to get money or food. It was there. We had homes to live in, spacious, big homes. And also I've been told at that time that the birth rate was really through the roof. And the average birth rate then was a Kiwi mum had 4 and more kids. There you go. Well, today our birth rate is, 0 point something percent. It's so low, we're almost dying off as a breed. So under Christianity, we make babies. How do you like that? Under Christianity, we all got jobs. Under Christianity, low crime. Under Christianity, we all had houses. Under Christianity, it was beautiful. It was a country that was blessed. Look at the world today, people. How Christianity is on a comeback. It's returning again and it's rising. You can see by the top sportsmen now in the world soccer or football across the globe. We're seeing now some of the key soccer players, the top players these are, who are actually confessing openly during the game and outside the game that they are full-on Christians, love Christ, and they're converting many of their friends and their colleagues in the soccer teams. You've got soccer teams praying together on the pitch. You can say what you like, you can criticise this, but this is what's happening to world-class athletes. They're taking Christ and they're praying. It's happening also in politics. Look at Trump. He really brought this back. He was unafraid, unapologetic, and he did not cower and let himself be imprisoned by the opinions of haters and mockers. He brought Jesus Christ to the world. He had an incident with the bullet in the ear, remember? And that really affirmed him that only God could save him, and he was right. From there on in, he had a transformation, and he led his nation back to power, back to strength, the economy. For whatever you say about him, hate him or like him or love him or loathe him, he has done well in the short space of time that he's been there. And he's attributed publicly. This is the United States of America. He said that Jesus Christ is my guidance. He is the God of America. Wow. He's proclaimed special days to recognize Jesus Christ is Lord of the United States of America. But then it's happened in other countries. Look at President Bukele just recently of El Salvador. You find him kneeling on the floor, and pastors and men of God are praying for him because he asked them to come into Parliament, and he says, I need the blessing of God every day to run this country. Now, El Salvador was the worst crime-ridden country in the world. Get that. Hear that. It was the worst in the world for crime, El Salvador. He turned it around in no time. You know, this shows you that all these politicians we put in, year after year and decade after decade, can't even deal with the small problems in our country. They can't bring change to our country. They don't have a vision for my nation. But look at this Bukele. He was voted in, and the first thing he says, I'm going to clean up our nation. I'm going to get rid of crime. I'm going to build strong families, and I'm going to bring Jesus Christ back here into this parliament. He cleaned it up, man. He made a difference. I don't care whether you believe or not, or whether you hate Christianity, or you don't want it here, or you're saying get out or get away, Brian. I'm telling you right now, these are facts. It changes countries, changes fortunes, changes futures. Now, when our friend Mr. Paul Henry said he went into politics for the reason of his grandchildren, that they were going to go in a country, will they come into a country like New Zealand without the opportunities he believed he had? He's a little bit younger than me, but I have the same sentiment, the same drive that my grandchildren, and I got 6 now, great-grandchildren, and I'm concerned about this. Probably what I'm doing this for my great-grandchildren. What type of New Zealand do they inherit? What am I going to give them? What are you going to give your children and grandchildren? We must fight today to make sure they get a better tomorrow. And how do we do that? You can't do it without Christianity. No hope. This election coming in November is dead. It's over and it's gone if you put people in there who don't have Christianity with them. Now, Jen, tell us about those stats that you've gathered here that just back up basically what I've said.
So in the 1960s, another key thing was pretty much all of our politicians were Christians. So we had Christian leaders making decisions for this
Wow.
nation.
Say that again.
We had Christian leaders making decisions for this nation. So
Did you-
that was what was undergirding every choice, every vote, every decision, every action was Christian
So
principle.
you were saying to me in 1960 when we had the economy was booming,
Yes,
housing was booming,
yes.
we were all booming. It was money for art's sake. It was bickies everywhere. We were flying, and you're telling me, and I've just said that what supports us, families were healthy. Number one, healthy families.
Yeah.
Number two, Christianity, 90% of the population.
It was the dream. It's everything that
And so
we dream
politicians.
of now.
Politicians.
Yeah, exactly.
The Christians.
We're Christians. These days, you're struggling to find any confident, bold Christian in our parliament because they hide it. You don't. I can't name any one Christian that's currently in parliament that has been bold about their faith. Can you? I can't.
Well, if they do, they're told to shut up, or they're put out the
Yeah.
back, and they
The closest
ostracize them.
The closest was Luxon when he first went in.
Yeah.
His maiden speech, he made inference to the fact of his Christian faith, but then he obviously got told to toe the party line because you didn't hear any more mention of that.
Did you know when you said that Luxon led a lot of people to believe he was actually a man of faith, a Christian? Did you know that? I thought he was. At one stage, we all did, and I think a lot of the Christian voter went that way because we thought we were going to get a man who was going to be true to his confession as being a Christian. But we've found out since there's anything but.
Well, now we see him bowing down to other gods.
Other gods,
We've
yeah.
seen him acknowledging all these other faith, their celebrations. Very little mention of anything like Christmas or Easter. He's very much backed away and pretty much rejected his Christian faith. Now, only God himself knows what's going on in the heart of that man, but all actions, overflow of the heart, even the mouth speaks. You'd have to, I think he's departed his faith, wouldn't you?
I was asked to go on the platform to have an interview with Sean Plunkett. And it was all about basically declaring New Zealand to be a Christian country. He argued with me, black and blue, that what I was saying was that Christianity was New Zealand's founding faith. Christianity is our founding faith. He argued, he yelled. These interviewers, man, they like to drown me out. But he just wouldn't accept it. He said, no way. He said, there are a lot of atheists here, Brian. There are a lot of no religions. There's Buddhists, there's Sikhs and Hindus. And I said, well, yeah, this is a Christian nation. And if that's their religion, they should go back to the country that's their religion. But where do, no religious people go and atheists? There's a place they can go to. It's called hell. That's right. If you don't believe God and you don't want to believe God and you're an atheist or you've got no religion, that means you just cast God over the side of the boat, then there's only one place left for you. That's hell. You're going to hell. How do you change your destination, which you don't want to go to hell? You need Jesus Christ in your life. And you switch from going to hell, you go to heaven. That's a fact. So if you want to be in this nation, which has the founding faith is Christianity, then you got to believe that Christ is alive and he's there for you. Now, our friend on platform, Sean Plunkett, he must have been eaten up inside because the show had finished and I'd gone. I do have this effect on people. He must have been really inside internally. He was chewing it over and grinding. He couldn't get it out of his mind. Later on, he had an interview with Winston Peters. So it was on his mind so much that when Winston was ready to take the interview, he said, I had Brian Tamaki on here not long ago. Winston sat back and thought, well, what's going on here? And then Sean put it to him. Winston, I'm going to ask you straight out for a yes and no. Is he right? Is this country's founding religion or faith is Christianity? And Winston said, Brian's right. It is. Sean Plunkett's face went pale and it drooped and dropped. Well, this is the first time I can say Winston Peters and I agreed on something, and that was an important issue we agreed on. I mean, I can stand with him when he could say that our founding faith is Christianity, so therefore we ought to bring this back to our country, return it to where it was, put Jesus Christ's name back into parliamentary prayer, and start putting the Bible back where it belongs when they're swearing in for oaths, that these people swear on it, and we get this right, then I believe our country is heading toward a prosperous future.